Hello, sir.
Hey.
Part 2. So part 1, I totally destroyed you and made you love Jews, which I didn't expect to happen.
I didn't think I'd be making a confession like that, but...
I couldn't believe you started crying at the end. Was it like a nervous... It must have been like a very cathartic to just like collapse like that.
It was, yeah. And I finally learned to love the Jews, so...
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Shalom. So the guys I was calling, Ezra Levant, Ron Coleman, and then this other rabbi, and I forgot to say this in part 1, but he said, tell him he's a f***ing Jew. And his argument is, there's nothing more Jewish than poring over the Torah, criticizing Jews, and constantly discussing Jews. He's like, that's what we do all day. And now we're getting back in the Jewish. Also, when I went to Israel, I was shocked at how anti-Semitic it was. Like you read Haaretz and some of these left-wing newspapers there, and they're in line with David Duke. Like they want Palestinians to be in Israel. They don't want they hate the wall. They're very open to much more than America, I would argue. And that I think is more that white shit where we're happy to on ourselves. Right.
Well, they're left-wing. They're liberal over there. They have liberal Jews.
Yeah, they hate guns. Like they carry a machine gun, an AR-15 for 2 or 3 years. You have to sleep with it because God forbid it gets in the hand of a Palestinian. And then the second they're done, they can't wait to get rid of it, which boggles my mind.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
It's that white liberal shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that's gone away, though, after October 7th.
Yeah.
Well, a lot less market share for that kind of thing.
Okay, so we covered the Jews. Let's talk about Ye for a sec. Did you get him into the Jews?
No.
Well, maybe that's why he was open to having you around.
Yes. Yeah, he had been into it for years, is what I'm told.
Well, most blacks, I think 70% of blacks hate Jews. And I think they hate Jews because they see Jews as the ultimate whites.
It's a big just part of their doctrine, though. When you look at like Nation of Islam and Malcolm X, there's a lot of criticism of Jews in Israel there. And yeah, I mean, they see Jews as like, in some cases, like ultimate capitalists, or, they do see them as part of the white matrix in some sense.
God, Jews are like venom. We can't get away from them. It's on. It's on us. I keep trying to change the subject. Yeah, they hate that they're gentrifying Crown Heights in Brooklyn. And just like Jews in the Middle East, I'm like, please do gentrify Crown Heights. It's a fucking war zone. Like every bar will have a shootout in the bar, wantonly just shooting it, hoping to get the bad guy, but not giving a shit about anyone else in the fucking bar. New York is not a nice place. How long are you here for?
Just until Wednesday.
Oh, okay. Oh, we should hang out again.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
Hello, I'm Gavin McInnes.
And together we're Compound Censored.
And we would like you to subscribe with this deal using this promo code right below me right now.
Do it, because it's very entertaining.
So I always saw you and Ye as like Master Blaster. Do you know that movie?
Kind of, yeah.
It's Mad Max Road Warrior. So there's this little midget who's a genius, and there's this giant retard. And he sits on Blaster's shoulder. He's Master, and this is Blaster. And he runs Bartertown. And I mean, Ye's great and everything. I don't want to disparage him, especially after he invited me to his studio and we did the debate, but I don't see him as a genius. He's a great artist. And I even see this Nazi shit as like when David Bowie was into being a Nazi and he said, I want to start the Fourth Reich, and he would wear swastikas. Like, I think it's more of an art experiment than a well thought out war against Israel.
He definitely believes it, or did. I don't know what his current state of mind is, but he was, and I do think he's a genius. I think he's a musical genius, and I think that politically, he doesn't read about politics, like he's not a political guy, but he has an incredible political intuition, I would say. I believe that.
Really? Mm-hmm. Does he know where New Zealand is?
I don't know. I didn't ask him that. He probably traveled there. His wife's from Australia, so I'm sure.
Oh,
he does,
yeah.
But yeah, he did have a good instinct, and he really did understand the issue, because he sort of understood the issue fundamentally is about power. He said, and I remember this distinctly, he said, I want to run for president. He said, but the mistake that Trump made is he didn't take on the Jewish media first. He said, and I'm going to take them on prematurely, early, and that way when I run, they'll be neutralized. And so, but that is sort of the right instinct.
That's genius.
I think that's good intuition.
Best of luck, buddy.
That's good intuition, because it is true that the media, he sort of recognizes that the media is kind of the gatekeeper of politics.
Yeah, that's all true. Mm-hmm. But taking them out, neutralizing them?
Well, and
with what, a nuclear weapon?
Not neutralizing them in that way, but maybe neutralizing the effect of being called anti-Semitic. He recognized that he had to kind of get over that stigma before you enter in. And if you want to touch on some of these issues, like if you're talking about like a Christian government, which is what he wanted, who are the biggest opponents of the fusion of the Christian church and the government? It is Jews. It is the ACLU. It's these Jewish civil rights groups.
But so often we have hypotheticals that are fine, like an all-white America. And then we have reality. Like, you're not going to neutralize the media with your anti-Semitic thing and make it acceptable. And the idea of a Christian government, a Christian government is a 100-year plan.
But didn't he make it mainstream? Is it not mainstream now?
Yeah, I guess so.
If he ran in 28, would it be as much of a problem?
Do you think he could possibly win?
I think he could. It would be difficult, but yeah, I could see it happening.
Wow. I got to say, when I went to AFPAC and I saw the sort of magnetism you had at that speech there, lots of blacks, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, we did a little funny video about the evil white supremacist rally, and we only showed the black people. But when you got up on stage, I thought you might be the next president, actually.
Thanks.
You got up on stage and you said, I just got to thank all these wonderful white men who made this happen. And I saw blacks clapping. And that would blow a liberal's mind. But it was like, say we were in Japan and a Japanese guy got up and he said, I just got to thank all the wonderful Japanese men who made this happen. There'd be whites in the audience and they would clap.
Right.
Because they're in Japan. And they would be welcome there. But I guess I'm saying it's okay to be white.
Yeah.
And that's probably why I think you're so popular with young people, because they've been told that white people suck their whole lives. And I think you and I made you in a lab.
Kind of, yeah.
But we're the first to tell guys like my son and his friends, who don't really, like, they have black friends. They're not really about race. My kid is about baseball. Like, I've never heard him mention Jews or blacks once ever. He mentions the Mets and their terrible record. But these kids are taught that white people suck. White men are the worst. It's still happening. Don Lemon was just talking about the strange innate violence we have.
I saw that, yeah.
And it reminded me of that absolute raging retard who wears like a Nona's little turban, Nick Cannon. And his argument is they've always had sun and they can harness the energy of the sun, which I think he just means we don't get sunburnt. That doesn't mean you're harnessing energy, by the way. You're just not going red. And he said, we had to fight like Vikings and savages to survive in the winters. So it's made us evil, violent people. And that's why they're so chill. Again, this hypotheticals in reality.
Yeah, right.
Like, chill? What the fuck?
Yeah, they have no chill.
That's what I noticed when I came here from Canada. In Quebec, it's all English versus French. Jews are English, so we're on their side. And French are just retarded. And then race never comes up. Haitians are French. So they're on the French side. That's the only black people in Quebec. And then you come here and it's all race. And within like a month, I was like, this whole country is black failure, white guilt. It seems to power everything. And maybe I have a myopic obsession with it, but I I just see so many excuses for bad behavior, even when good behavior,
Right.
like the NBA. You know why they're in the NBA? They're overrepresented because that was the only thing we allowed them to do. They tried to be lawyers and scientists. I've heard this argument, and like accountants, and it was like, nah, get on the basketball court, boy. I want to see you bounce a ball up and down.
Shut up and dribble.
We're laughing hysterically at their serious belief system. And I think the only future, like obviously the white supremacist thing of putting them all on boats is ridiculous, especially mixed race. Like what do mulattoes do? But as we learned in New York, enforcing the law and putting bad guys in jail, regardless of their race, is the only future for America.
Yeah, I agree.
Prison. And when I came here in the 90s, it was a fucking war zone. Giuliani came in, he just threw people in prison, and it looked really bad because you end up putting a lot of blacks in prison. I've always said, say you enforced parking laws, like in a really stringent way. It would be called racist because blacks would probably disproportionately suffer from you doing that. And that's what happens when you enforce the law. So Giuliani looked like a racist because there was tons of black people in jail. But fucking Disney, Times Square was Disneyland. It was Wakanda.
Yeah, well, that's the issue is you say we're only going to go after criminals, and then all the cops are in all the black neighborhoods, arresting only black people, shooting only black people. And it's sort of like cyclical, actually, because you're right. I mean, there was like a huge crime wave in the 70s, 80s. They started cleaning up in the 90s, and then people kind of forgot. And they started to say, these police are picking on black people for no reason. No, it's a jailbreak. You get George Floyd, Summer of Love, and then people go, we need to bring the cops back. It's like it's just an endless cycle.
The strong men, hard times analogy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And that's New York. It's still in the weak men create hard times thing. But yeah, I guess it will be cyclical. Like even if Trump, say we have Trump, he's I don't know how, are you still anti-Trump? Are you coming on board?
I'm pretty anti-Trump.
Okay. So I'm not. So say Trump keeps rocking and picks it up on the deporting, and then we have 2 terms of J.D. Vance. Part of my brain goes, all right, we fixed the problem. Like we got the junkie into rehab. He's been clean for 6 months. Let's get him out of rehab. He's got a job now, but he's going to do heroin again.
Right.
America's going to go back. I think what might happen is we get 3 terms of Republicans, strong men create good times, and then the left can run on, we should be more benevolent. We got this great country with no crime. Let's have more welfare, less jail, and then we'll go back to the hard times.
I don't know. I see there could be a cataclysm on the horizon, like a major economic depression, World War III. I think we're heading towards an inflection point that's going to be
really,
that's going to bring down whichever administration's in power, whether it happens in the next 3 years or whoever inherits it in 29.
What will be the catalyst?
It's hard to say, but it's everywhere you look, society's destabilizing. There's the technological unemployment from AI. There's the debt crisis, which is it's not fixable. It's not solvable. So there's going to be some kind of restructuring. And then you have this World War III. You have this conflict of we're fighting Venezuela, Russia, Iran, China. And so we're on a powder keg with all that going on. So it's kind of happening like literally as we speak right now.
Yeah, it could be the frogs in boiling water thing, boiling oil, where we don't notice that we're in World War III. I mean, China's killing 20 people a day with opioids with the help of the cartels. If that happened, if they went in and blew up a classroom every single day, we'd go, holy shit, we're under siege. And we are under siege, I guess.
Well, and not even just that, but where they're testing America everywhere. That's really what's happening is these revisionist powers are testing the limits of American power. Russia sending the drones into NATO, seeing if they can penetrate the air defense. You've got China, which is doing these huge elaborate drills, and they're buying amphibious assault vehicles from Russia, looking at trying to get Taiwan. And the question is just, is there going to be a moment when it all pops off? And it's just the U.S., NATO, Quad alliance is at war with all their guys. You could see that happening, and you could see one thing triggering the other. Like maybe the debt crisis happens and then we start some kind of war to reset our system, or maybe a war happens and it triggers an economic problem. But all the problems seem to be compounding and intersecting.
Yeah, wait a minute. It's 20 blacks kill 20 blacks a day. I think it's 200 opioid deaths a day. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but isn't it possible too that we've all sort of microcosmed all our problems and just said, all right, I'm dealing with my area. Like Arania in South Africa. They've said, all right, I'm done with this shit. Crimes everywhere. I'm building my own little town. And I feel like people go, will America ever reconcile? I go, no, America divorced in 2015 with Trump. We don't want anything to do with the south side of Chicago, with Baltimore, with basically all of New York City. And we're making these little Florida, Texas, and then these little MAGA enclaves. So I feel in a way like we've already finished a civil war and we're just choosing our territory now.
I think it's going to be worse than that. I mean, especially with all the shootings now, Trump assassination attempt, the United Healthcare CEO, Charlie Kirk, and the polling is terrible. Like the latest numbers say like 30% of Generation Z leftists think that political violence is acceptable. I think they, which is nuts. That's a third.
That's the same as Muslims, by the way. 1 in 4, if you go globally, think that suicide bombing is sometimes or often justified.
There you go.
And that's why they're bedfellows too, because they both want us dead. They both want to destroy the West. It's weird. Islam would have a lot of trouble recruiting Gen Z, but they don't have to. They have the same goal.
Which is destroying the
Jihad,
West.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, they wear kafayas.
That's true. They do.
So they've already got their own personal army.
Yeah. I'm not with the communists at all. I think they're scum.
Duh.
And the progressives, but there's even something worse. I feel like there's also this like undercurrent of nihilism too. Some of these school shooters, they're not even ideological. They're almost post-ideological. They embrace the far right and the far left.
Well, Cassandra McDonald had a good point. She was kind of a nerd for shooters. Mm-hmm. Same way you would collect, Gen X would collect like mass murderer cards, Charles Manson and Ed Gein and all that. And she goes that politically they don't give a fuck. They worship death.
Yeah, yep.
It's a death cult. And they like Mao because he has 80 million under his belt. They like Hitler because he killed over 300,000 Jews. That was a joke.
I wasn't sure.
It's not a joke to you. Yeah, they just want maximum death. And so they're jihadists. And they don't make babies. When are we going to get a baby out of you? You got to get married and make a baby soon.
I know. Yeah, one of these days.
You must have riz. I mean, I've seen you be charming on a podium, and you must have. You probably brought a bitch with you to New York.
Do you believe that actually?
50-50. I would bet. I'd be willing to bet $300.
It's like you don't even know me. It's like you don't even. I did not bring a woman to New York.
Well, how do I know
sex
that?
With.
Why did you go to the hotel first and then take forever?
Because I fell asleep.
What?
I didn't sleep last night. So I went to the hotel, took like a 10-minute nap, and then I got dressed.
10-minute nap on a lady?
I'm a
some people say you're
quick
gay.
operator. Yeah, I've heard that once or twice.
They say that to me sometimes, like, oh yeah, you like Nick? You like the fucking Jew hater? And I'm like, I like Nick. I disagree with him on the Jew stuff, but I'm not such a that I can't handle someone disagreeing with me. And then as far as the gay thing goes, I obviously couldn't care less. I don't know how you feel about homos, but it's used as this thing like to discredit someone.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They do it with me. I was talking about how bad Hillary Clinton is at dancing. Mm-hmm. I go, I could dance better than her with a fucking stick up my ass. And we happened to have a butt plug there because we had porn stars as guests. So I put it, not literally up my ass, and then I started dancing. And my enemies use that against young men because at that age, there's nothing more disgusting than homosexuality. Mm-hmm. So it's used as a tool. And I think it's used as a tool against you where they go, don't listen to him. He's a and 14-year-olds are petrified of Then you get to be like 30 and you're like, I don't care that you're a pervert. It's none of my business. Yeah. And it definitely doesn't discredit things. So the right should never be in a situation where finding out someone's a destroys. It's a way to fuck. That's my whole thing with like why I don't like it being discussed in school. You're talking about ways people fuck. If a heterosexual couple only did anal, I don't want to hear about it. That's how you fuck.
Right.
So I don't care if you're gay. You'll be happy
Thanks.
to hear.
I appreciate that. That's great news.
You're free. You're free. Go.
No, but I agree. And like, it's reputational destruction. And I think that ironically, the more tolerant, and I am Catholic, so I do believe it's a sin. I do believe it's wrong. But on some level, there is kind of a benefit in society getting more tolerant because those types of things used to be selectively deployed to take out someone who's inconvenient politically.
Excellent point. Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's why, I'm not getting back to Jews, but that's why I want you to be open to like good Jews. Like there's this homo down the street and he had a bar and it was, he's gay. Mm-hmm. And so he would have lesbian night and gay night and he's married and everyone loved him. And then when Trump came along, he's like, oh yeah, I'm voting for Trump. I think he's great. Persona non grata. Overnight, he was a pariah. His bar was going under because that was his clientele. The local cops found out about it and they made it their bar. Business went back up again because they recognized him as an ally. And that's why I always said with Proud Boys, I don't care if you're black or gay or Jew or whatever, because if you're pro-Trump, if you're a conservative and you're getting shat on everywhere you go and you come in out of the rain and you come to our place, I'm not going to tell you to fuck off and push you back out into the rain. You finally made it here, which is why Ann Coulter always says our blacks are better than their blacks.
Well, Ann Coulter loves the blacks.
Oh, yeah. Dude, the N-word, she gets fucking angry.
Yeah, yeah. Well, she wants to give them reparations. I mean, there's something up with that.
But she's pretty rational about blacks. She's like, get them out of school and get them on construction sites. They need jobs. They don't need PhDs.
That's true.
You guys are very similar. Do you hate her too?
She's got beef with me. I was cool with her, then she started attacking me out of nowhere because because she thinks I'm racist. And she's wrong about that.
You know, she dated Good Times.
Who?
You know the show Good Times? Dynamite!
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yes.
Wow.
And Bill O'Reilly's girlfriend, Bill O'Reilly's current girlfriend, dated Flava Flav. I don't think I could get past that.
Yeah, no way. I could never.
All right, so let's get serious. So what is the solution to the black problem in America?
I think it's like we talked about earlier. You got to enforce the laws, but here's the problem is as long as there are racial differences, which I do believe there are, you're going to have these persistent inequalities. They're just not going to achieve at the same level. And you can kind of tell them over and over again, well, it's a level playing field. It's fair. If you wind up with less, that's just the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That will never satisfy them. You know, if you're persistently poor, have less income, less wealth, less jobs, less education, less power, and they're telling you, well, you deserve that. That's the market, or that's just, that's what you've earned. It's creating the situation we have now where it creates malicious envy. And they start to say, well, we want power. We want stuff. We want what you have. And I don't know what the answer to that is. That's a very difficult problem. I think that, they're trying to solve this with this colorblind meritocracy argument you hear now where they say, well, we'll just let the chips fall where they may. Yeah, you try that. But again, over generations, people are unequal. They start to get angry about it. And then they start to express that rage in identity politics. And they start to say, we're coming to get what's ours. We want more. We don't care if we have less because it's fair or it's not fair. We want a bigger share of the pie. We're coming to take it. And that's where we are in America with all these different racial groups.
Well, they get told that the reason they're suffering, all their problems come from white people. And so they have a bad day. They get pulled over because their registration isn't up to date. Mm-hmm. And it's because of white people. And eventually the dumber ones are going to go and just start shooting pretty white girls because of this deep-seated animosity that white people have helped them foster. And it seems like, judging from New York, that particular, this is going to sound super racist. And by the way, when I started this question, there's a lot of black people saying, what are we going to do about the black problem?
Right.
So I'm talking about a particular thing within that group. But there's certain type of ghetto blacks who are violent, who just don't do well with flattery. And I've seen this with my black friends, like at my boxing gym, when I say, you're fucking amazing, man. You're a phenom. Instead of them doing what white people would do, is just be like, well, I just work hard and I got good cardio and I train a lot. They just go, that's right, man. I could kill anyone. I could fuck up anyone in this room. And I'm like, yeah. Kind of ruined my compliment there by ingesting it. And you see that on a global, maybe a global scale with that particular group, where every compliment just seems to turn into arrogance and violence and animosity.
Yeah, I think they're kind of beyond help.
That's hilarious. So the solution is just prison. Like, do a good job, be a good boy, or you're going to jail.
You know, it's like we talked about it. Then you create these cycles, though, and I don't know if there is any solution with any kind of finality that people are prepared for, because really at the bottom of it, it's that we have a multiracial society to begin with, that there's lots of blacks and lots of whites.
That's not
together.
Changing. So don't talk about that changing. We have to start. That's the starting line.
That's sort of the basis. And on full legal social equality. But then on top of that, you have integration. So you have a country with large numbers of people, and then you have this idea that it's actually a good to push them into contact with each other and to be completely integrated. And I think that as long as you have large groups of people living together, integrated, and they achieve at these very disparate levels, there's just going to be resentment. And it's just about managing that anger and resentment, because, you know, again, how satisfying is it to tell black people that are chronically unemployed, chronically poor, uneducated, that's just what you deserve. You're just not as smart, or you're just not like on some level it's true because the average IQ is what it is. But will people ever accept that? Eventually they're going to say, I just want more.
But whites have accepted that in sports and music.
But sports and music isn't the same as money, wealth, material conditions.
Sports is wealth. Money is wealth.
Yeah, but we sort of see
Jay-Z
them
has the most expensive house in the history of California.
But how many NBA players are there in the whole world?
Yeah.
It's like a few dozen, you know. We're talking about when they say systemic, there is something systemic. It's not racism, though. It's just that, you know, on a group level, these conditions are there. Blacks are generally poorer than whites and always have been, and that's probably never going to change.
So what we've done is we've gone, all right, there's different IQ here. So the higher IQs are going to have more money. Mm-hmm. That's embarrassing. We don't, you're walking around with a nicer car. It sounds like you're better than someone with a shitty car. We can't have that. It's very uncomfortable. Women have a big problem with that kind of thing. Men are like, I guess he's better than me. So they tried, okay, well, let's just give them money. And now they won't feel bad. We'll tell them that the reason they don't have money is because people don't like them because they don't like colors of skin. Mm-hmm. And then we'll give them money. But that clearly made things much worse. So let's at least go back to the no welfare thing, where there's not an incentive to have babies out of wedlock. And maybe if we can get the family back together, is that a pipe dream?
It's possible, but the thing is about that whole idea of like blacks being traditional and all this, it happened when they were being oppressed by whites. It happened before the Civil Rights Act. So if we go back to telling them what to do, they have to listen.
Well, that is what law enforcement is.
Right.
Like you get, like there was that guy who went in Texas. He went in, he stabbed a 6-year-old boy in his bed. He just got out after 10 years. Proud Boys did 4 years for fighting Antifa, a fight they didn't start. So the guy stabbing a little boy in his bed is about twice as bad as fighting Antifa for 17 seconds. If we could just get the justice system fixed, that is telling bad people what to do.
Right. But again, then over time, they're going to start to have a problem with that. They're going to start to say, why are the prisons filled with black people? Why are neighborhoods filled with cops? Why is it always black faces getting shot by cops on TV? This is just, whether it's Rodney King or it's George Floyd or it's Trayvon Martin, it always turns into a problem. But that's just a feature of the underlying issue, which is there's going to be more blacks in prison than whites. There's going to be more rich white people than rich black people. We're going to have nicer stuff, more power over them. And on some level, it always comes down to power and material conditions. That's just what's unacceptable, is blacks always looking at white people in charge of them and looking at white people that have better shit than them. And they're never going to be like, well, guess we deserve this.
Well,
so
the situation with the prisons is already there. Mm-hmm. They're like every prison you look at, it's at least half.
And they're trying
black.
to open the prisons and fire all the cops.
Right, yeah. Well, here in New York City, they're electing a Muslim mayor, so the Jews don't have that kind of power. I forgot to ask you, what happened with you and Ye?
We still talk.
But when I met you, I don't think I met you. I'd already known you. You were working there full time.
Right.
Remember what I told you?
What did you tell me?
You don't.
I don't remember at all.
I said, fucking ride this, dude. If I was 17 and the Sex Pistols invited me to be their roadie, I would not rock the boat and see how long I could, keep my foot in the door, because this is a magical moment.
Well, I did. And what happened is when we were out there, we were talking about a 2024 campaign. And that was the basis of it. Then he got married. He got married and then dropped off the face of the earth for months.
Well, he was also talking about porn, and there was crucifixes in the...
That came later. That came in June
of
23.
Well, you know how I was talking about how with anti-Semitism you make everything about the Jews? I'm an anti-Femite, and I make everything about women.
I'm with you.
They ruin everything. They're miserable because of it, which is kind of like the Jews, right? With their promoting... the golem that was the student protests, the post-October 7th, River to the Sea. The River to the Sea people are Marxist students, and plenty of Jews in there, the refugees that you guys welcomed in,
right?
Blacks that you think are your buddies because of the civil rights movement, and no MAGA people. Mm-hmm. And with women, this whole I can beat up a man, we're the same as you, trans women or women come on into our sports, I'm not going to have kids, I'm a boss, bitch. Mm-hmm. It's ruined their lives. It's their golem. And there's plenty of studies that have shown, as my viral thing on Fox News on Hannity goes, women are much happier at home.
I remember that. Red pilled me.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah, I saw that when I was in high school, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. This is so true.
Well, what no one knows about that is I knew her. Mm-hmm. We used to do Hannity's radio show down the street. And she would ask me, do you know any guys, eligible bachelors? And I was like, I do for young ladies.
Yeah.
But you're 36. You fucked up. Mm-hmm. And you chose her career was CBD lawyer, pot lawyer or something like that. She probably had a case, 2 cases a year. What a fucking waste of time. And I don't like when these women make these terrible decisions and then they impose it on other women and ruin their lives. What's her name? Is it Carrie Bradshaw? No, that's the protagonist of Sex and the City. But the woman who wrote Sex and the City deeply regrets it. She's lonely as shit. She has no kids. And she's fucking Hitler. She committed a Holocaust.
Oh, yeah, of unborn.
Of unborn babies, because those unborn babies don't have babies. So she's killed millions of people in the future.
Candace Bushnell is her name.
Candace Bushnell.
Here's a question. Sorry to interject. We can edit it out. Can you tell Can you tell us anything about the Ye Trump Mar-a-Lago meeting?
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Sean. Yeah, let's talk about that. And we don't cut it out.
Well, what do you want to know? I mean, it's
so the leftist view is, Trump's a they make up all this shit. He's a pedophile. He's a rapist. He has dinner. His lunch with white supremacists, which I guess you're in that myth, that straw man. But he didn't know he was meeting you, did he?
No, yeah, I guess that's the biggest misconception is everybody has a different idea about it, which is that we set Trump up to take him down. The left thinks that Trump invited us to signal how racist and anti-Semitic he is. But in reality, so That happened the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. So it was November 22nd.
What year?
22. So I actually met Ye for the first time the previous Thursday. So just 4 or 5 days before. And when I met him, he already had that meeting scheduled. That had been scheduled long in advance. And he was already like a Nazi at that point. When we got there, he was drawing swastikas and like he was already about it. People said, I made him that way. He was in it. And it was a last minute thing that Monday night, he said, do you want to go with me to the dinner? And I said, yeah, of course. And even so, then we flew out the following morning to Florida to go to Mar-a-Lago. And we hadn't even decided on the plane if I was actually going to come to the table and eat with them. It was still undecided at that point. We got there an hour late for reasons. It's a long story, but we got there an hour.
You're with a black person. That's why.
It wasn't his fault, though. It was actually somebody else's fault.
Beetlejuice.
That's yeah.
Voldemort.
That's right, yeah. But so we got there late. We sit down. Trump walks through the dining room and shakes Ye's hand, shakes my, I think he shook our hands. I don't really remember.
Did he know who you and Milo were?
Milo wasn't there.
Oh, who was the other guy?
It was me, this guy Jamar, who was a Donda Academy engineer. He's black, so I don't know what that means,
Means he drives a locomotion.
Yeah. And Karen Giorno, if you know her, she's tight with Susie Wiles, they actually had a falling out, but she ran the Trump campaign in Florida in 16 until October. So it's the three of us plus Ye. And it was basically this last second thing where Trump motioned for Ye to join him. And we were all going to hang out at the bar in the waiting area. And Ye signaled for us to go. And that was our cue. We just walked up. He didn't know me. He didn't know he knew Karen because he had worked with her before, but that's the only person he knew. And initially he was only talking to Ye because he didn't know the rest of us. So he's talking to Ye, and Ye is he's a little shy sometimes. Like it takes a while for him to warm up, especially if it's somebody he really respects, like Trump. He's apprehensive. And so Trump was kind of struggling. He's trying to get him to talk, and Ye just wouldn't talk. So he starts talking to Jamar, and Jamar's an idiot. And he starts talking to me, and I light up, and I'm rapping with
Trump. Who put a quarter in you?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just opening up, and I'm, doing my show, basically. And so we really start vibing, like we really like each other. And I think Ye didn't like that. So he jumps in and says, well, tell them what you were saying the other day. Because we're strategizing how
about in the Holocaust.
Well, not about that, but that our game plan to hurt Trump in the election. And I'm like, why? I'm like, dude, don't make me tell him our game plan.
Well, just don't.
Yeah, exactly. And Trump was like, go ahead, tell me, don't be shy. And I said, listen, I'm a young guy. I said, I just love you. I said, and you're one of the greatest living Americans. You're my hero. I have nothing but gratitude just to say thank you. And and he insisted. He's like, don't be bashful. Tell me. And I said, well, when you started in 2015 in the primary, I said, you were against the whole GOP, not just the left. They asked you at the first debate, will you support the eventual nominee for the GOP? And you said, no, I won't, because I have a lot of leverage and I'd like to be the nominee as the Republican, but if I'm not, I may run as an independent. I said, in that moment, it showed you were serious, that you were really going to fight actually the GOP establishment too. I said, and this was right after the election, the midterms, I said, you get behind Kevin McCarthy, Ronna McDaniel. I said, we don't like them. I said, we're not here for them. We're here for you. I said, so when you attacked DeSantis, who was talking about running at that time in 24, I said, I like that because you're right. It is inappropriate that he's running. He isn't in great, and you're right about that. And they're piling onto you because they're trying to get rid of you. They want him to be the guy. I said, so I love that. And Trump was like, oh, so you like that? I like this guy because this guy gets me. He's like, so I was like, yeah, I do get you. And so that was kind of where it went. And then there was this big controversy where Trump basically discovered that Ye was being coached. Ye accidentally sent these notes that he got to a mutual friend of Trump. someone coached Ye and said, this is how you talk to him. If he takes you on the patio, it means this. If you're in the dining room, it means that.
Oh, I remember that. That went public, yeah.
Yeah, so Ye tried to forward that to me. My name's Nick. He sent it to another Nick, a lawyer. That guy called Trump to warn him. Yeah, like major issue there. And Trump just lost his mind. He took a phone call at the table warning him. And he put the phone down.
Oh, I remember that.
Demeanor totally changed. And he lit us up for like a half hour.
No way.
Yes.
What did you get? You know what? Your tie.
Well, he didn't light me up. He really lit Ye up. And he told 3 stories about how like black people were ungrateful to him.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah, that all went public too.
Yeah,
That was all over the news, yeah.
So that was the moral of that story. And then Ye asked him to be his vice president, and he flipped out. Yeah, it's major insult.
This is the genius. I mean, I don't want to disparage Ye, and I know you really don't, but that's just not, like, to me, he's an artist. He's out of his breath. I mean, I'm kind of out of my breath talking about, Israel and all this shit, because I'm a dumb punk that just wants free speech. But like Ye is similar. I mean, he's great at music. He's great at concepts, design, fashion, art. But like running for president?
Well, he's not.
It's a numbers game.
He's not a policy guy, to put it mildly, But like neither was Trump. I mean, remember, when Trump had more of a grasp of the issues, I would say, but he would go up there and say, healthcare, well, like, we'll figure it out. He would go up there and say, we're going to bomb the hell out of ISIS. I have the strategy. I won't tell anybody. And he kind of had an idea, but there's a lot of Fox News stuff they just saw on TV. So, Ye in the same way is just like more of a social figure. He's a celebrity. He's sort of a social, cultural figure. And you can't underestimate the cachet that has with people, the way that he can connect with people.
Yeah, it happened with Justin Trudeau. The guy had zero to do.
Total idiot,
but handsome and charming, I guess.
Yeah.
To women.
And Ye mogged Trump. Like, he humiliated Trump because he walked into Trump's home territory, said, will you be my vice president? And then went on Twitter and said, I asked Trump to be my vice president. I can't believe I went to Mar-a-Lago and I was wearing jeans. And then he put out a video a couple days later and people were saying Trump is going to get knocked out of the race.
Really?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that at all.
It's like everything. There was a lot of hysteria about it. People
Right.
said he's offended the Jews and he might not recover because he was struggling at that time.
He's not out of the race just by being with you guys.
Yeah.
No, that was huge.
Yes,
no, I remember that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant knocked out by Ye because Ye's going to become the president. But no, that was real.
Yeah.
That damaged him in a big way, especially because the left has this supply and demand problem with Nazis where there aren't any. So if they see any, like a fucking pubic hair of Mengele, they just grab it and fucking put it in front of the camera. So they had a Nazi finally.
Right.
And they ran with it like fucking crazy. Wow, that was nuts. So why don't you like Trump anymore?
Well, it's a lot of things. I mean, he bombed Iran, which I don't like. He chose J.D. Vance as his vice president. I really don't like J.D. Vance.
Why don't you like J.D. Vance?
I think he's a total fake. I think he's a Manchurian candidate.
Really?
He's a total pawn.
I think he's going to be the next president of the United States.
I think that's possible. It's a distinct possibility.
For 2 terms.
I'm going to do anything to prevent it. And I'm going to think of you while doing it.
That's hilarious.
Why do you like him?
Trump?
Vance.
I feel like he's one of us. He's caustic and funny and memey. And he married an Indian, like I did. Wrong kind.
Uncommon, yeah.
He got the wrong kind.
Yeah.
He did button instead of feather. No, I just like my thing with the right is I'm a hippie, man. Like Charlie Kirk, Nick Fuentes, Ben Shapiro. I did a graph recently of all the infighting with like Crowder and Glenn Beck and like all the beefs. And it looked insane. It looked like a JFK research. Like there was red lines everywhere. And if you look at the left, it's just a big blob. Mm-hmm. Like they take in pedophiles. Drag queen story hour, yes. That's the same as They're biggest intellectuals. And we have the opposite problem. So if you want less government, I'm going to wait until we get that before I start beefing with you. I'm happy to, like Ben Shapiro and I have nothing in common. But while we're on this, in the war, I need everyone I can get. And then after the war, I'll say, by the way, I never liked you. You know?
Yeah.
So J.D. Vance he seems to be, you know, anti-liberal, and liberals are destroying the Western world. And it's the greatest civilization on earth. And I'm determined to preserve it. And I think that's a big part of the Proud Boys is we're kind of the first club to say, we are very proud of the West. We're not just like we feel bad about the bad things. No, the bad things were great. It's like when you talk about J6, it wasn't, it was awesome.
Yes.
It was cool. And to be ashamed of all this success, it's a white trait. I bet Jared Taylor said that to me once. He said, there's something about whites when they get called racist, they're apoplectic. And so what people can't resist doing is just shooting at our feet and going, dance, bitch, dance. If you shoot at the feet of a Japanese person and go, you stole this island from the Ainu, they would just go like, why are you shooting down there? Well, what are you doing in here anyway? Get this guy out of here. You tell the Mexicans they're conquistadors, they would laugh in your face. We're the only ones that get ashamed. So, yeah, I don't have a very nuanced opinion of J.D. Vance. Why do you hate him?
I mean, for starters, I just think he's completely different than Trump.
He was anti-Trump for a long time.
Exactly. And that to me really encapsulates it, because what we liked about Trump fundamentally, the proposition is that he's a political outsider. He's a self-funder, which means he's not corrupt. He said, I'm a billionaire. I don't need their money. And he said, the reason our system doesn't work is because it's bought out by special interest donors, the globalists. He said, and because I'm rich, I'm immune from that pressure. So I could really do what we need to do. I could be unpopular. I could be unpopular with the rich. I can literally take this country and deliver real change. And J.D. Vance is just like the opposite of all that. Like, he's completely dependent on billionaires. He comes from Yale Law School. He changes his views Trump has been consistent for 30 years on everything, trade, war, you name it. Vance was calling Trump a Nazi in 2018, 2017, like that recently, you know? He voted for Evan McMullin in 2016, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Bill Kristol's guy?
Yeah.
And he's a creation of Peter Thiel. I mean, his whole life is fake. His name is fake. His venture capital career is fake. His everything, the whole beard thing, even to the extent that he's like a meme guy, that's fake. That's put on. He's like a douche, you know? Like, did you see the movie? The Hillbilly Elegy movie?
Yeah.
And he's like calling up his wife. He's like, what do I do with these forks? There's too many forks. He's at like a fancy dinner. He calls his wife to say, how do I eat with the fork? This is a guy that's like a edgelord on Twitter. That's calculated to me. So I think that he's basically usurping the movement.
Great.
And you like that.
Usurp it up.
Usurp it up.
Fill your boots. Like, that's how desperate we are.
Yeah.
You know, I need to win. I'm a Bolshevik. I think I come from the left. I mean, I wasn't a real political guy, but I come from this ruthlessness on the left. Like I said on the show recently, I want an Epstein Island. We have a conference where we bring in all these world leaders for a coffee summit in Costa Rica. And we show them all these different coffees because we want to export to these places. It's all bullshit. We pay the coffee people to be there, and we talk about the billions of dollars of coffee to all these different countries. We pay first class for all these guys. We're not going to get, the prime minister. We're not going to get Keir Starmer or Trump, but we'll get the Congo and we'll get some shitty countries. And then they get prostitutes. We have cameras everywhere. We say we have to check the hotel for security purposes, but we put in cameras. And then we say to the head of the Congo, stop killing Christians, or we're going to expose you fucking that 17-year-old. And we don't have to give them money anymore. Like, everyone's already playing dirty pool.
Right.
You know, it's not fucking Queensberry laws here. They're kicking in the balls, they're biting. So When Biden pulls out his hockey bag of votes, we pull out our hockey bag of votes.
I don't identify with the Republican Party or Vance because I feel like
Me neither.
what we want is.
But I support them.
But I mean, even like in terms of when they say we are winning, I'm like, who's winning?
But you're so good at nuance when it comes to the right, and you're terrible at it when it comes to the Jews.
In what way?
Well, you see them as a monolith.
I don't. What do you?
But you divide up the right into like all that matters in an election is right or left. I remember I was arguing with like bald guy at Daily Caller. I had his name for a second there. And Shapiro, I think, was there too. And they were all like, no, we're not voting. This is 2015. We're not voting for Trump. And I go, you realize it's Trump or Hillary. So if you don't like Trump, you get Hillary. You have two people. So like, what are you pushing right now? An independent?
Well, I hope that someone else runs in the Republican primary besides Vance. And that's a person. My ideal outcome is that we get someone better as the Republican
Like
nominee.
who?
Like someone we're not aware of yet, because I don't like
okay.
anybody. It'd have to be like a dark horse, somebody that hasn't, given an indication they're going to run. But the problem with someone like Vance to me is because he's owned by the donors, he answers to them and can't deliver the real change that Trump promised. Because what Trump said is like, it was very distinct. It wasn't limited government. It was actually the opposite. He had huge deficits and said, we'll take care of everyone with health care. But Trump said we're going to do tariffs so we can have manufacturing. We're going to build a wall and stop the invasion of America with legal and illegal immigrants. And then he said we're going to end all the wars and bring all the troops home, even from Germany and South Korea, or they could pay for it. That would be transformative. And now what it became is like corporate tax cuts. We'll deport the criminal illegals. It became like, we're actually going back to Afghanistan. And I'm like, I feel like we were very clear about what we wanted for decades. When I say we, I mean like the Republican base.
The voters.
Yeah, we want fewer immigrants. We want fair trade, no wars. And that has never been delivered.
Well, there was a bombing in Iran. If there is a real war in Afghanistan like we had post 9/11, I'll agree with you. But right now, there's a lot of bluster when it comes to military endeavors, and a lot of it is just bluffing. But if we actually have boots on the ground in Afghanistan, you will have won this. I also wanted to ask, another accusation you get is that you're a Fed because you were in the eye of the storm at J6 and you didn't, I've heard you defend this on your show, but I want to get it on record here. You didn't suffer any consequences.
Right.
So you must have been hired by them and they don't put their own guys in jail.
Yeah. Well, I did get a lot of problems. That's the part that people don't talk about. Is I got my bank account frozen. I got put on the no-fly list. I got subpoenaed by the J6 Select Committee. And recently it was revealed by James O'Keefe, his media company, the OMG, the O'Keefe Media Group. They did a report and said that I was actually on Bill Barr's hit list. Bill Barr had a list. He was working with the House Select Committee on J6 and created a list of all the people they wanted to take down and hit with charges. And it was Alex Jones, Steve Bannon, I think Roger Stone might have been on there, me. It was like all the big people. And, that was very real to me. I had to pay like $250,000 in legal fees to deal with all that stuff.
And you couldn't raise money for that too. It was out of your own pocket.
It was out of my own pocket. I had some donors help me with some of it, but yeah, I cut like major checks to out of my own pocket to do this. And what's more, I got subpoenaed by Congress and we testified, me and my lawyer testified, I never had contact with law enforcement under oath. So if that was a lie, they could charge me with perjury.
Right, yeah.
My lawyer could be disbarred.
But you never went in the Capitol either.
No.
And were you and Alex both had bullhorns that day? And were you telling people to calm down and?
No, I was telling people to
get in there.
Well, here's what people miss. So, first of all, I had no plan to even be at the Capitol building. I was at the speech on the Ellipse outside the White House where Trump was speaking. Then I was going to split, but Trump said we're going to the Capitol to protest. And I said, okay, well, if that's the plan. So I go there and we take pictures. We're hanging out. I'm with like a small group of people. And somebody says, you got to give a speech. Like, this is historic. I said, all right, get me a megaphone. So someone goes running and they try and find a megaphone. And where I was perched was on this, I think it's called like a Peace Monument or something like that. It's like 500 feet from the Capitol building. And I get up on the thing, and the line they take out of context is I say, we're moving towards the Capitol, take down the barriers, disregard the police. And what they think I'm saying is go into the building. But I am outside of the complex, outside of the lawn. And there were barricades built around the lawn. And people were gathered on the lawn, which is not a restricted area. And the idea was, in the speech, I said, like, we're not going to leave the lawn until they get the electors back or whatever it was at the time. And so I'm saying, like, get rid of those barricades and we're on the Capitol grounds. Not we're in, because I wasn't any, and if you saw where I was on the map, you would see I'm not anywhere near the building. But people can't see from the video where I am. If you thought I'm like next to the door, it looks like I'm waving everybody in the building, go get arrested, go get in trouble. But I wasn't. And I took that whole group away because it started to get hairy. They were dropping tear gas and it got ugly. So then we all walked away. But I didn't get charged because I didn't trespass at the end of the day.
So you were just saying go from grass to grass.
Yeah.
Now in retrospect, we learned that out of 18 Proud Boys that were really the core members, 13 of them were feds. Mm-hmm. So there's the 5 names you know, Zach Reel, Dominic Pizzola, Joe Biggs, Ethan Nordine, Enrique, I guess. The other 13 were feds. We hear about 275 other feds. So it seems to me it's pretty clear that Nancy Pelosi and the DNC made it clear to the Capitol Police that we need a riot here. Mm-hmm. And they got what they asked for because they kept poking the bear. They got a pretty cool riot, as you keep pointing out.
It was awesome, yeah. You weren't there, right?
No, I could tell it was a setup, but I begged Proud Boys not to go. And they didn't obey me, which is pretty common. But yeah, so do you think it was a setup?
It's hard for me to say. I don't know. I've heard all the evidence where the request was made for police and it was denied, and now they said there's 230 feds there. And what really stuck out to me, though, is there were videos from the other side of the building that I wasn't at where the cops were like letting them in.
Yeah.
And the cops were
huge.
saying, it's your right, man. This is like they were saying, like, this is all good.
Yeah.
And that was in Baked Alaska's case, where they were trying to get him to make a plea bargain. And then that video came out. I think it was from his stream or something like that. And they said, we can't charge him with the felony that we're using as leverage because this actually exonerates him. So that's the part that makes me suspicious.
I'm surprised he got a fair trial because in the trials they'd have you with a bullhorn. This is hypothetical. And they would, before they showed that they would edit in massive rioting and fighting and stuff. So the jury would see all this violence and then they'd see Nick at the end.
Right.
And it was a hard edit. And that's what was giving people these insane fucking sentences. I think if Ashley Babbitt was murdered by a DEI hire, Roseanne Boyle was killed by a DEI hire who said, I'm going to get some MAGA scalps today. And they trampled her to death. And that was the black female cop doing it. 2 black cops killed 2 guys that day. There's other people who died that day. I think there was a heart attack and shit like that. But if you commit violence for political gain, you're a terrorist. So our government were terrorizing us that day.
Yeah, by definition.
And the left's takeaway is worse than 9/11, J6. So that must have been stressful for you. And then, of course, we got to talk about that lunatic coming to your house who killed your neighbor's dogs.
Yeah.
Now, few people can understand what that feels. I've been there, not someone at my door, but like my house vandalized and stuff. And it's a hard thing to convey to people. Like every time I hear about a home invasion, it's a different universe from being mugged on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because for the rest of your life, now every twig that snaps outside, every strange sound could be the next one.
Right.
So you're always vulnerable in a sense.
Yeah.
Why aren't you a drunk? I just be drunk. I would have a bottle of bourbon. I did. When shit was at its worst, I would have a bottle of bourbon. I'd go through one every 2 days. But you seem so calm in the police footage where you're like, yeah, I'm not telling anything. I'm a public figure.
That was after the woman came there.
Oh, but that was the same day, wasn't it?
No, it was about a month before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she was just sitting there filming you.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's still an ongoing.
Oh, okay.
I got charged with battery.
Oh, yeah, because you shoved her or something.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's what they claim.
Allegedly, right.
They claim that she was removed physically from the stairs. I briefly took control of her body and chose what to do with it.
Oh, they can get weird with that kind of shit too, like kidnapping.
Yeah, right.
Like if you pick someone up and you move them one foot.
I didn't pick her up.
I know, but just the law.
Yeah,
you pick someone up and you move them 1 foot, you've kidnapped them.
If you block a door.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So then a month later, lunatic comes to your house.
Mm-hmm.
You have normal security. You're not going to fucking open the door for someone.
Right.
And you call the cops. And then did he kill himself at the neighbor's house?
No, they shot him.
Oh, yeah, they shot him. So that's not ongoing.
No, yeah, that's finished. He's done. But,
Your poor parents. I met your parents. Very cool.
yeah.
I called your dad, Ryan Rivera called your dad Mike Pence. And he's like, you look like Mike Pence. And your dad stopped and turned around. And he goes, I can't let that go.
That's funny.
So what was it like?
It was
knowing someone was there to kill you.
It was weird. I mean, because he was a young kid. He was like 23, so he's even younger than me. And it was a terrifying story because he killed 3 people the same day, earlier in the day.
Yeah.
So he went over, and at first what was weird about it is they wouldn't let me leave the house. So I was in the middle of my show. I saw that someone was in front of the door with a gun, so I said, I'm just going to wrap my show up. When I finished the show, my producer comes up and says...
Wait, stop.
What?
So you see on the cameras, someone is there to kill you, and you're like, I should probably wrap this show up. Okay, guys, we have time for one more letter,
Yeah.
and we're going to take a couple calls, but there's someone here to kill me, so I got to get going soon.
Well, I didn't want people to panic, and...
Oh, I see.
On the offhand chance that that he was watching the stream or something, I didn't want to.
Oh, you didn't want to play your hand.
Yeah, I didn't want to tip anybody off.
That's balls, man.
Yeah.
You either have huge balls or you're severely autistic.
Maybe
both.
Maybe the latter. Yeah, but so I saw him, and we had the doors like barricaded, not barricaded, but we had a wedge on the door, and we have a security system. So I figured I have like 2 minutes maybe to buy myself some time here, and I get off the stream. I go to my producer. He goes, oh, the cops are already here. It's all good. I go, okay. So I go then to take off my suit and get changed, and I hear gunshots, and I just like jump on the ground because I don't know where they're coming from. And
so wait, I'm sorry. So he rings your doorbell. No one comes, so he just gives up. I guess no one's home, he thinks.
No, he's like hanging out at the house. He
tried the side door.
Yeah, he went around to the side door, went in the yard. He's flipping off the cameras. And then he comes back to the front, and then the cops pull up, and he takes off running. And he runs through the backyard, hops the fence, runs into the basement.
Helmet on the entire time.
Helmet on the whole time. I guess he kills the dogs, runs back outside, shoots at the cops. They return fire. They shoot him in the head and kill him. And so I only heard the gunshots, and they wouldn't let us leave the house. I'm trying to get out of the house, see what's going on. They're saying, stay in the house. This is an investigation, blah, blah, blah. And this went on all night until like 5 a.m. the next day. And basically we ascertained, because we were listening in on the security cameras, they said the guy's name and they were talking about the case. But I didn't find out until the morning after. There was one cop left. And I said, hey, so did they kill this guy? They said, yeah, he's dead. So I didn't know until and then didn't know any of the details, who the guy is and why he was there. I still really don't know why he was there. We can assume, obviously, but I never got contacted by law enforcement with the full story.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, Anthony Kumi and I were talking about the new MK Ultra, which is instead of a Manchurian Candidate where you have to go and give the guy LSD and give him the code word, everyone has a phone. You and I are touching our phones right now as we speak. Mm-hmm. So is Sean. It's on your ass right now, right, Sean?
It's in my dick.
It's in his urethra. So I'll just bombard the world with my propaganda. And out of 340 million people, even if 0.01% think that my enemies are worth killing, they'll go shoot Trump, they'll go shoot Charlie Kirk, they'll go shoot. And now there's no paper trail. I'm good.
Yeah, right.
I took out the bad guy and I'm totally innocent. So all of this, he's a Nazi, even Biden with his, his mega extremists and Don Lemon, all of that shit is MK Ultra. It's a propaganda tool to get us killed. Which is why if someone calls you a Nazi, it's fighting words because they don't mean Nazi. They mean you can be killed.
Yeah, that's true. They're green lighting you.
Yeah.
To be hit.
Yeah.
Killed.
You're on the list now. And they do literally have lists.
Yeah.
Their lists are a kill list. When we did the Deplorable, there was a list of everyone who's going to be there. And so these Antifa dudes were looking for us as we came into the building.
I remember that, yeah.
And they didn't want to debate us.
Yeah.
They wanted to kill us.
Well, yeah, they hit Richard Spencer in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
They were so proud of that. He's doing an interview. They punched him in the face and ran away. And that was kind of the birth of Punch a Nazi.
Yeah, it was.
And it was the most cowardly fucking punch in the history of punches.
It was a sucker punch.
It was a sucker punch. How's he doing these days? Are you good with him?
Yeah.
We could do a whole show on people.
We could, yeah.
Like Michelle Malkin, you talk about Trump being consistent for 30 years. She saw Dinesh D'Souza come to her school in 94. And she was like a mousy little Filipina who wasn't particularly political. And her own professors, who she pays money to, were saying, they had a rhyme. They love their rhymes, right? Like follow the leader, kill yourself like Hitler did or something. And it was like, don't be a loser, ignore D'Souza, some rhyme like that. And it was her professors saying it. And she had this coming to God moment where she's like, fuck these people. He's a moderate who's going to do a normal speech. By the way, your debate with him was like Hagler and Hearns. It was a bloody, brutal slugfest. But, and she started writing for the student paper then. You can go look up her articles from 95. And she just kept plowing forward like a fucking locomotion. And then you became persona non grata. She defended you, the Groypers. She's doing AFPAC, Proud Boys. She's just, she looks like her personality is so different from the pretty little Filipina lady. She's a fucking juggernaut.
She's awesome, yeah. She's feisty. She's a fighter,
She's a total fighter,
and
yeah.
Brilliant, really smart.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite people.
Her books are fun too. She doesn't write like Mark Levin, Mark Stein. They're very intelligent, and their books I kind of get bogged down in. But her and Ann Coulter, they have this John Stossel kind of almost like newspaper article writing.
Yeah.
That you could just tear through her books in an afternoon.
She's a brilliant writer.
Really?
I think she was an English major, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really attainable.
Yes.
Not as a date. That ship has sailed. Although I've fantasized about time machines, but as far as her writing goes, it's really, and Anne's like that too, with her brackets and her not saying that they would have been there in the first place. It sounds like a transcription of a conversation. So we got to wrap it up soon. Who's on your fun list? Real heroes. For me, it's Pat Buchanan, Michelle Malkin, Ann Coulter. I like Glenn Beck's books a lot. I mean, it's hard to separate people from their books, but you've sort of been fickle with Trump. Who's a stalwart that you still respect and admire besides me, obviously?
When I do, but probably Sam Hyde is one of my all-time.
Oh yeah,
I think he's the all-time greatest.
You know what's interesting about Sam Hyde? I was just thinking about him. Remember that interview he did with, was it Joshua Bernstein?
Oh, Joe Bernstein.
Joe Bernstein. Yeah. So he had his hat on, and Sam refused to take the interview seriously, and he was fucking with the guy the whole time, right? And Sam was not that big then. And Joe was like, I'm going to fucking get you. So he became public enemy number one in Joe's silly little beta male mind. And he got Sam's show canceled. And that fucking dummy, as far as Jews go, he birthed 100,000 anti-Semites.
Yeah.
Like the anger from getting his show canceled. And as Sam points out, like, you really think I'm going to fucking hide a swastika like on a mailbox somewhere in a shot? Like I'm going to, they keep accusing all of us of that, of Trojan horsing in this hate.
Right.
He's like, why would I bother? And I saw there was a Muslim cartoonist on Marvel Comics, and he would do that. Like the address for a building would be some verse of the Quran, like 1402 or whatever. But the injustice of having that funny comedy show canceled made a whole generation of young men just go, fuck the Jews.
Mm-hmm. It did, yeah.
So way to go, Joe. Good
Well,
work.
he is at the New York Times now, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because that was part of the video as Sam says, you will never work for the New York Times. And I think he did. But Sam's doing great, too, now. He's got World Peace season 2.
Yeah. Well, he always was destined to be successful no matter what they did. But that fucking idiot did so much damage to Jews just by being a cunt who was insulted by what happened to him. Jared Taylor is another very consistent guy.
Yeah, he's excellent.
He seems so moderate now.
Yeah, right? He does really, like, it is all about, like, whites being smart and blacks being dumb.
Yeah.
It's kind of like beating that drum for a long time.
Right.
But
well, the original
consistent.
book, Paved with Good Intentions.
Yeah.
Is which Ann Coulter buys by the case, by the way, and gives them out every Christmas to everyone she knows. But that book was originally called Black Failure, White Guilt, because that's what it all comes down to.
And he's right about that.
But his racial realism was always, and I just emailed him the other day. It was like a mainstream conservative meeting where they said, "I'm not a racist, I'm a realist."
Yeah.
And that's what he always called himself, a racial realist.
Right.
And all he ever said was, if diversity is so great, it shouldn't need funding. It should just be popular. Like I used to deal weed in college. I never advertised. People found out I have weed and they would come by my apartment and I would sell it there because it sold itself. So why does diversity need billions of dollars? It should sell itself if it's so awesome. And he also said, if you want to have a whites only restaurant and a blacks only restaurant, and that's fine. And that's common now. You have blacks only proms. So segregation has been mainstream. He's a mainstream dude now.
He is, yeah. It's interesting, though, how Steve Saylor has been pushed to the fore, where Jared Taylor has not been.
Yeah, that's fascinating because Steve Saylor, I would argue, is maybe even more moderate.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I see where we're going with this. I casually walked into your trap. Hey, why are there bars in here? Why the door closed behind me? Hello? Yeah, he did say, he's the guy with the quote, well, it gets to the point where if it rains on your birthday, you blame the Jews.
Yeah.
I think he learned English from watching old-time movies in Japan, and he's got that transatlantic voice. Okay, let's wrap it up here. But last guy on the list, Peter Brimelow.
I like Peter a lot.
Very smart guy. All he ever did was say immigration should be slowed down.
Yeah, right.
All our monsters, all our David Dukes, when you actually open a book or listen to an hour of their show, they're fucking moderate.
Yeah. And Brimelow in particular, he is a race realist, but Alienation is just about immigration.
It's just a numbers book.
It's nativism, so.
Yeah,
he's pretty great.
It's an economic book, really. It's just graphs and charts. And then you got, what's her name? Tisha James. Is that her name?
I don't know her.
Yeah, the prosecutor here in New York who's just waged war on him.
Oh, yeah, against VDare.
Yeah, she wanted to out all his subscribers' names.
Yeah.
She's trying to get them kicked out of the castle. Like, you chase Frankenstein with pitchforks and flaming torches down far away from his home into a castle. He hides in the castle, and then they're like, let's take away the castle. Like, they're insatiable. You can never satisfy the radical left until you're dead.
Yeah.
Which is why I have no quarter with them and I don't want to talk to them. I didn't even like when Charlie Kirk would do that shit. Like, why?
Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
Why deal with that low-hanging fruit? Why red pill retards?
Well, and then, I mean, ultimately, not for nothing, but they hated him. They wanted him dead. Like, he wanted to debate them. And like you said earlier, their rhetoric is, you're a Nazi, like, you have to die. For what? Like, Charlie Kirk's more moderate than everybody we talked about on the show. He's a Republican. So I completely agree. The left has to just be defeated. They can't be negotiated with.
It's a divorce. We have to make a bunch of Iranias. Mm-hmm. And my Iranians are relatively multicultural, multiracial, but aren't you a mixed race? Do you ever what do you say to that? Mexicans making white people? Like, how do you feel about me marrying a squaw?
Well, I mean, I'm against race mixing. I want to marry a white person.
But Ho-Chunk, my wife's a Slovakian Ho-Chunk, pretty close to white. A Mexican's pretty close to white. Isn't it the same?
Not really. You know, I don't know your wife, her genetic background. And obviously my mom married a Mexican guy.
She's half Slovak and half Native American.
Okay, well, what's different about Mexicans is that Mexicans have a lot of European DNA.
Right.
So my dad's half white and half Mexican. And within the Mexican, he might be 25% white or 15% white within that. But for me, it just comes down to, I just want kids that look like me. I don't want to have kids that look completely different. So that's just kind of my metric.
Yeah, I get it. My youngest boy he doesn't look like me, but he looks exactly like his mother. He's not going to look like both of us. All right, well, this is very satisfying, Nick. Yeah. I hope I covered everything here. Yeah, it's pedantic to go over a list when you're done an interview. That's gay. But thanks for coming. Great talk,
thanks for having me. Great
Cheers.
talk.
So, if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.